In this video, we'll go over all of WoW news from the past week and try to compress it into a bite-sized video. To start off, let's go over the weekly events for this upcoming week. The bonus event is Arena Skirmishes. Yawn, worst week. There's a PvP Brawl this week, and it's Deep 6, which just allows you to run 6v6 versions of 3 battlegrounds at random. Actually, pretty decent and fun brawl. I recommend trying it out. Withered Gym is the world boss this week, and drops the much sought after Arcana Crystal. And finally, Mythic and Taurus is now open to cross-realm raiding, just like Heroic and Normal modes. Last week, Blizzard held a QA session to talk about things for Battle for Azeroth. So, I'll talk briefly about a few standout topics. Kul'tiran humans were confirmed as an Alliance ally race, and models for their possible Druid forms were data mined recently too, which I'll have on screen. Ever since they showed the unique model of Druid forms Sandalari trolls would be getting, Alliance players felt it a little unfair they wouldn't get any new classes that could become Druids, let alone new forms. And it seems Kul'tiran humans might feel that niche, and now the debate goes on whether or not humans can even be Druids. Honestly, since Worgens can already be Druids and they're basically just Druid-cursed humans, I don't see a big problem with it. They have already set precedent that humans can become Druids in a way, even if it was caused by a cursed Druid form. Another question asked if Sandalari trolls could be paladins, and they gave a maybe answer and said something like that would be addressed in a storyline in Battle for Azeroth. A question asked why so many baseline abilities have been removed from the game, and Blizzard gave some interesting insight on that. It seems previously, when the game was still newish, they would think with new expansions, which new ability can we give to classes? And then would just give them a new ability based on what they lacked. But over time, eventually, everyone could do everything, and it turned out it's what they couldn't do that made them more unique. So they've over time been trying to make classes specialize in certain areas to make them feel different rather than all the same. Plus, they also thought of solving the problem by adding new things to external stuff, like legendaries and the artifact weapons, so they could add new things but make them expansion specific. A philosophy that I think makes a lot of sense. Although, in addition to that, I think Blizzard should bring back a lot of the fluff abilities they've removed over time as well, since they were so wholly unique and specific that no one used them. With how many abilities have been removed, I don't see any harm in bringing those back, since one of the biggest reasons they were removed is because most classes just had too many abilities. And if you want some example of what I'm talking about, I'll link a top 10 I made at the end of this video which goes over some of those abilities. In a question about artifact weapons in Legion, they stated that all the traits will be burned out and disabled, making them essentially just normal weapons with no effects. That way, you can replace it with a green item while leveling up through the new expansion. But they did say it would last a while before being replaced, so it still will be pretty strong-ish. This week's Warcraft Micro Fact will be on a lesser-known vanilla WoW exploit/bug, explained to me by a guild member. You see, back in early vanilla, there was a quest in Azshar that required you to use an item to summon a Felhunter, who would then help you find an item. The item that summoned the Felhunter had multiple charges, no cooldown on those charges, and the Felhound lasted 10 minutes each, and did not go away if a new one was brought out, nor if the item that summoned it was destroyed or the quest abandoned. So, what you could do was summon all of the Felhunters, then destroy the item or abandon the quest, then reacquire that item from the quest giver, and do it again. You could theoretically do this as many times as you wanted before the first Felhound disappeared after 10 minutes, and could summon an army of Felhounds to your side, which then, if you Hearthstone back to a major city like Ironforge, could cause the whole zone to come to a crawl due to the massive amount of spawned NPCs following you around, as shown from the pictures on screen provided to me by my guildmate. The lag in major cities was so bad that a GM came in and talked to them and asked them what they were doing. After explaining the situation, the GM just told him to cut it out and to not tell anyone else about the bug. The bug was then patched out a few weeks to months later, and since the bug was only in the earliest versions of the game, and in a high-level questing zone no one went to, it was very low-key and almost unheard of. Until today, that is. If anyone else knows any more information about this bug, I'd love to hear about it in the comments, to maybe turn this into a full-length video in the future. And finally, the YouTuber's shoutout for this week will be on Ivan Kuzkin. I don't know if I said that right, maybe? Who makes really well-done custom model machinimas. Not all of his videos are WoW related, but some are, and he very recently released a new video, which I'll be showing some of the visuals of on screen. So go check out the full video and his channel. Links will be in the video description at the end of this video. And with that, I'll see you all next week.